teacups, what's brewing? We are back again, third day in a row. My goodness, it's been a while since I've done these this far. I was gonna say this far apart. I didn't quite mean it like that. This close together. I think I need more of this coffee. Chantal's had quite the day. It's been quite the day and night. A lot has happened. It's been quite the emotional roller coaster. I'm gonna take this as part recap, part react, because I just didn't have the kind of time to go and cut this down. So one of her lives, the He Doesn't Love Me, which, shocker, live that she put out where she had turned her chat off, which made it a lot easier to consume, but it was technically a live, but she recorded it like a video while she was driving back from his place. We'll probably do a straight react of that because it only ended up being 20 minutes and I can cut it in post. But she's had a lot of lives in between and there's been some community posts as well. So we're going to go through that and kind of see where we get to. So all of this really started with Peetz's video. Peetz put out a video on his channel basically showing that he was in kind of a bad way emotionally. He does suffer from depression. Remember, we had a little bit of a chat in my last react saying, hey, I wouldn't trust Peetz to look after himself. I wouldn't put him in charge of the cats, and that is an element of what we're going to talk about later. He's in a pretty bad way. He did turn off the comments on the video he posted on his channel because he doesn't really want the feedback. I think it's kind of a little bit of a cry for help. It's like, I need people to know, but I'm not sure I can handle people knowing in its own way, which I get. So that went up, and I think what he was hoping would happen sort of kind of happened, sort of kind of didn't. But I think the idea was the word would get back to Foodie and she'd come back. I think that was, even though he kind of didn't want to see people, that was all he had. That was his cry for help, because she's not there. She's not there to know. And, or they haven't talked as much, or she's not really focusing on him. She's not one for focusing on other people. So his general state of, yeah, his depression has been difficult. She very easily could miss signs that it was becoming more acute. And indeed, a lot of the signs that would tell you that are kind of their normal state. They don't have a regular they don't have a regular sleep schedule. They both kind of live in filth. So a lot of the things, he's always sort of depressed. A lot of the things you would look at as, hey, I've noticed a change in your behavior and I'm worried. It's getting a little dirty in here. You don't seem to be taking care of yourself. You've been up all night and asleep all day. Those are normal states of beings for them. So there's nothing different about it other than that, the fact that he's feeling worse. Sorry, I'm slipping over my words a little bit. A little bit of coffee. So this led to a couple of community posts because people were very concerned and got back to her and were quite accusative, and they were like, hey, how about you support him? And it was very concerning, some of the things he was saying. So community post 1 was quite short, and I will maybe put it on the screen somewhere. I saw Peetz's video and I just want to crawl in a hole with how bad I feel. I'm gonna go be there for him. I've checked on him and I knew he was down. I just didn't realize how bad. And like I said, with the routine being kind of so negative for both of them anyway, it would be easy to miss, and she's not there all the time. She's not there most of the time. So I don't blame her for missing how acutely he might be feeling it, but man, do I look poorly on the responses she had after it. But we'll get into that. So at this point, okay, that's a logical response to what she's seeing. She was going home. A little bit later, we get another community post. Hi everybody, I'm with Peetz and he's starting to feel a bit better. We will be going for a Christmas lights drive in Starbucks later. See you soon, XO. Thanks for thinking of Peetz. I've been a shit friend. I can't cure his depression, but I can be here more for him. I will get much off my mind when I be's alone next. Not so I can talk bad about anyone, just so I can speak a little more freely. Because as we know, she cannot speak freely when Nada is in the car with her, or anywhere else for that matter. And that's going to become a little bit relevant later. So that so far seems like a normal friend response. And I'm like, okay, well, good. I'm glad she's gone. I'm glad he's got some help. I'm glad all of these things. And then things escalated somewhat. So when she next goes live, we're in the car. She's holding Starbucks, and it's the Hey Guys live, and it's just a car rage. That's what that live was. So she starts very defensive. It starts actually, she has a moment where she's like, no, Peetz, fine. And you're like, really? That doesn't sound right. And then she gets very defensive. I don't understand why she turned the camera on. I really, really don't. I don't know if she filmed something at his house or if they were going to upload something at his house. So maybe it was going to become obvious to the community that she was not with Peetz during the time. But given everything, she clearly knew what was going to happen, the response she was going to get when she turned on the camera. Why on earth would you turn on the camera? She's had no problem lying before, so either just lie about it and don't tell anyone, or tell the truth and do this, I suppose. But it seemed like such an odd choice. So it does not take long for her to try and turn this back on herself. Like I said, very defensive. And when I say not long, at a minute 44, she's like, I'm very depressed myself. And then by just gone the 2-minute mark, she's starting to rage. She's got a lot of, if you're just here to shame me. And she goes, I'm a good friend, and then points out in her description how she's been a shitty friend. She's been like, oh, okay, I was a shitty friend when Peetz passed. I've been a shitty friend not being there. But she's a good friend. And I do find, I feel like I've spoken about this before, that she does mix up financial support and emotional support and take them as equal. Because I'm paying for everything, I am a good friend even when I'm driving off into the night when you clearly need more intervention than I'm giving you. You clearly need someone there. You clearly have done what you were capable of doing to try and reach out for help, and have described through the safety of your camera, because you don't have to face a real living person when you say these things into your camera, as much as you can of what you're feeling. And she's driving off. But she is a really good friend, you guys, and she gets quite angry at the idea that she isn't, because she does see financial and emotional support as equally valuable at all times. And she finds financial support a lot easier, and she'll be like, no, look, see, I did this. So she is mad. She's absolutely livid that people are telling her to help, that people are telling her how to live. Let me see. If you're here to make me feel like shit, then basically get lost, is the message. She blocks, I want to say 10 people during the course of the stream. She gets angry at people for calling the cops. I didn't realize people had called the cops. Apparently, when they got back from wherever, I guess at this point, because you have to kind of fit the timeline together. So at the point she had left the community post messages, so they were planning to go out, and apparently when they got back, there were cops there for a wellness check. So at this point, she hadn't had this live. People only had the community updates, I guess. I really wish people would just stop calling the police and animal control and all these people. I really wish they would. I really wish they'd stop intervening in that way, because I don't feel it's appropriate. But apparently they called the police. The police were like, hey, could we talk to James for a little bit? And just checked in with him. She at some point mentions, no, he's got numbers, he's got support lines, he's got helplines. So I'm guessing they gave him some resources. I would guess that he is perhaps not feeling able to engage with those resources at the moment. But they were there anyway. So another wellness check at House of Foodie. Very, very, I want to say determined, very vocal on the point, you make me into a person I'm not. And I don't think we do that. I think there is a lot of speculation in the community in general, but a lot of what we take, we extrapolate from what she puts out. So if she is putting out something that is not a true representation of her character, then she can change that. But we're going on what we see And she does seem to think, well, people listen to reactors and they think a thing. And I guess, yeah, some people do. But a lot of us are looking at source material and we're saying, okay, but Peetz is saying this. And when we fit together all the pieces of footage she puts out, we're like, hey, these things don't match up. Hey, this timing isn't right. Hey, you said this, but this is in the background of his video. What? And so she gets mad that we figure things out, not that she's doing them and maybe should be answerable to them. So she makes the point, I am not responsible for his mental health, which is true. She is not responsible for his mental health, but as basically his only friend and his roommate, she is a huge impact. She has a huge impact on the state of his mental health. She may not be able to stop the lows, but she is the closest point of contact that he has. So to say that she can't do anything about it, I think is simply not true. She could be, she will never be, but she could be a driving force for healthier routines, and it would help both of them. She could simply be there, and that's the real sticking point through most of this live. I'm here for him anytime. And you're like, well, you're not though, because you're currently sitting in your car. At this, his most acute time of need, you've been there and you've been like, okay, so bye. And now you're in the car on the way to Nada's. So I'm here for him anytime. You're not here for him now. And the point she makes in response to that, because the chat is telling her, she's blocking people because the chat's not having it. Oh, the chat is not having it, my friend. And so she's blocking. And she's like, well, no, I'm here for him all the time. And they're like, well, where though? Go home now. It's one night. She's like, I cannot be there for him 24/7. Just like she can't be there for the cats 24/7. She can be there for Nada 24/7, but for no one else. Because Nada is her boyfriend. But, that whole conversation. We're not asking, they're not asking, the community at large is not asking, Peetz is not asking for 24/7. They're saying right now. Right now is a time of need. Why aren't you there right now? And she doesn't really have an answer for that other than she doesn't want to. And she does actually say that directly several times. Bear in mind, we are still very early in the live stream with all of this. She says she's not burdening him with the cats, which I would disagree with. She's maybe not intending to burden him with the cats because the cats don't take a lot of looking after compared to another more needy set of pets. That, I think, is the argument. But Peetz is feeling burdened by his own existence right now. He's doing nothing but sleep, and he has said that he recognizes his depression and he feels too deep into it to do anything to get out of it. So that's kind of a dangerous place to be. So he's at the point now where he's saying, I don't feel like I can do anything. And that's pretty deep. That's quite a hole. And so to say, okay, well, I'm not burdening him. Everything is a burden to him right now. His own existence is a burden to him. So yeah, a smaller job as the responsibility of feeding them is going to feel like an insurmountable hill. It really is. We're only at about, well, I've got this timestamp, 6 minutes 43. She says, I'm severely mentally ill myself. And I had such a problem with this as an argument. Not because I feel she should be responsible for him, because she makes the point of, I can't get myself to my therapy appointments. How can I do this? But there's such a strong thread of basically like, you should value my mental health enough to be changing your response as Beezers to this situation. You should care enough about how I feel and the support I need and my mental health to not be bringing this back to me, but I'm not going to value his mental health enough to change my response and my needs and my wants, which I understand when you are struggling mentally that you maybe can't prioritize other people, but I think they're in very different points. And I think her mental health issues right now, although they are plentiful and present, were not pressing in this moment. So they are just there for an excuse. And how can you devalue his mental health in that way while still holding yours up with such strength and being like, no, this is the reason I should be protected and left alone because my mental health is important, but his he can deal with himself. And then follow it up with, I'm not going to ditch him. I'm not going to ditch my friend of 20 years. You are literally, as you sit in your car, in the active process of ditching him when he needs you. And then, like, I have, basically, she said, not even basically, she said, I have to go because I want to. I feel horrible, I'm doing everything, but I'm not doing anything I don't want to do, is what she actually said. So you're like, okay, and she repeats it, she's like, I don't want to do that. Okay, but have you considered that maybe his needs in this moment, not all the time, but his needs might not outweigh your needs, but his needs right now will outweigh your wants. Be willing to be slightly less indulged for one night to help your struggling friend. That's part of the emotional support we talk about in friendships. And you claim that he's your best friend. Someone says, well, he's isolated in that apartment. And her exact response was, he's isolated and what do you want me to do? I'm like, change that because you live with him in theory? He's isolated. What do you want me to do? That's the one thing you can change. That is the one thing that as his roommate, you have a massive influence over. What do you want me to do? I want you to not leave him alone. That's what I want. I'm assuming that's what the rest of the people wanted. Like, maybe don't leave him alone because he's feeling isolated and it's not really helping. She also makes a lot of very big assumptions. We have heard her hatred of Psych Eval because of emergency Psych Eval at the emergency room, because she went there once because she ate too much cheese and they didn't take her as seriously as she perhaps thinks she should have been taken under those circumstances. So therefore she told her friend that Psych Emerge is crap, and then she told us he doesn't need it. They just give him, they make you feel crazy and they give you more meds and he doesn't need meds. How do you know that? How do you know that? What professional degree do you hold that you know that? He is on meds, we know. And if you, I was going to say we know, but maybe if you don't know, sometimes you need to change up antidepressants because they stop working. It seems like whatever medication he's on right now is not effective, assuming he's currently on meds, because she usually takes him to go and get things and she hasn't been around. So hopefully, with her being so cavalier with her own prescriptions, he's still got a stock of his own prescription for antidepressants and that he's still taking them. I hope that's the case. I hope he's still getting his scripts filled. We have no evidence that he's not. I know that he's feeling bad right now, but he's got a lot of stresses on his life. This potential, we're going to move. He's no longer working, so the schedule that might have had for him is no longer there. And he might be feeling a little bit worthless because he's not employed, even if it was his decision to change. Even if his decision to change was maybe pushed a little bit by her decision to potentially move, and so he started thinking about things. We don't know. We don't know all the details of that. But he's going through some quite stressful things, and he's going through them completely alone because she's not there most of the time. She comes back to change, she goes live, pets the cats and leaves. They don't have a lot of interaction, particularly if he's asleep when she gets there. So she's just like, okay, he doesn't need meds. He might do. Sorry, that was my point. His meds might need switching up. He might not need Psych Eval to do that. Emergency Psych. What do they call that part? We'll call it, Psych Emerge. I'm saying it wrong. Sorry. He might not need Psych Emerge in that moment to do that. He might need to go visit a doctor. It might be something he doesn't have to do this second, but should do with somewhat urgency. But you don't know that, and maybe given the chance, instead of poisoning his idea of, no, you shouldn't go to emergency because maybe she doesn't want to go and she'd feel like she had to, she's like, well, you don't need that. Well, you don't know he doesn't need it. He's not suicidal. Well, He told you he wouldn't, but if he would he feel motivated to tell you the truth? And if it was the truth, does that truth hold true all the way through, or is it his current truth and does it have the opportunity to change? Will he change his mind later? I really, really hope not putting it out into the universe. But the point I'm saying is that one thing we know for sure is he may not want to talk about things like that. So if he were struggling to that extent, I doubt he would be willing to talk to you about it. He just wanted someone there. It was all you had to do. And it's the thing you chose not to because, and you were very clear to say it, you didn't want to. Not as important as everything, but she also uses the R word again later in the stream. And that's hey guys, it goes on for about an hour and a half. It's just a lot of rage. Yeah? Then she posts a vlog, and some of the things they did while she was there supporting Peetz becomes a bit more obvious. The vlog starts at Nada's place. She films an intro. And as she has in previous vlogs, I can't remember what the vlog was called off the top of my head. No, I can't remember what it was called off the top of my head, sorry. But it should probably be on channel. The vlog was an opportunity to, one, kind of, for people who can't keep up with their lives, maybe normalise the fact that she's now got 2 homes and she splits her time. But it's that very soft-spoken influencer voice again. And as with her vlogs, all of her vlogs recently, as her vlogs have usually been recently, she speaks as if she's been away. She speaks as if, and they are really, her vlogs and her lives are completely separate tracks on her channel and in her mind. So when she comes to the vlogs and she gives updates, she gives them as if we have never seen behind the curtain, as if we haven't seen her since her last vlog and this is the new situation in her life. But actually we've been following all the lives. So she appears to have filmed the intro the day before this occurred. And she's like chopping fresh herbs and garlic, and she's talking about her new life and all the rest of it. And then she is there with Peetz. She's got pizza with Peetz, which is her supporting him, and she's vlogging it. And she does mention that he didn't want to go live while she was there, unsurprisingly, because he's there having a major mental health event and he doesn't want to go live, so she decides to vlog. Maybe be a bit more considerate. Maybe be a bit more considerate. If he doesn't want to go live, maybe he also doesn't want to vlog. And it does beg the question. She ends up vlogging the lights, the drive. It's exactly the same as the drive of the lights she did last time, so don't worry, you don't need to go run see it. But it makes me wonder if she hadn't been able to use the opportunity to vlog the Christmas lights for content for her channel, would she have been as eager to go back? And that's maybe an asshole thing for me to say, because who knows, I'm not there, I don't know her thought process, but she doesn't seem very considerate of him at all, and she doesn't seem there for him. It's just she got here, so if I have to be here, what can I do to benefit myself? Oh, come to the Christmas lights with me. No, it'll be good for your mental health. Hi guys! And she's vlogging. She could have taken, even if she wasn't going to stay the night, the 5 hours or whatever it was she took, did you have to be online at all? Peetz doesn't even like Christmas lights. Could you not just have been a presence there with him? Could you not have, like, played a game with him? Could you not have, if he didn't feel up to having any deep emotional chats, could you not just have been there with him? Just so he knew he wasn't alone. Apparently the answer is no. They had to go out, they had to do Christmas lights. And then she put it up on channel, which was particularly tone deaf of her. Then the community post got updated. Oh my God, you people seriously need to STFU about Peetz and my cat or immediate ban. I was going to say immediately get, but that's not what she wrote. Or immediate ban for good. Bye-bye. And that was the community post. I haven't checked the community post since. And then we get a new video the next day. It's light, so the next day, I'm guessing, of her coming back from Nada's crying. So what I'm actually going to do, I didn't realize how long I was going to talk for, and it might be a bit of a longer straight react. So maybe I'll actually cut this video here and I'll do a react to He Doesn't Love Me, and I'll post that as a separate video because I feel like it's going to make this one enormously long. Okay, so there was one after that called Bees, which was just more kind of continuation, but we'll talk about it at the end of the next video. So sorry guys, but I want to make this somewhat consumable for you, and let's cut it off here, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.